Well, hey everybody, backyard scrapping here. As you can see, it's kind of an overcast day. I got up this morning and it was actually raining, but it has stopped. So I kind of figured I might as well get out here and let's get to working on these processors. So welcome to part 2 of our ceramic processors. The way we're going to do these now, they've all been broken up. You saw that in the first part. We got our weight and everything. What we're going to do is go ahead and do these directly in Aqua Regia. I know some people do that, some people don't do that. But that is actually the process we are going to do because I don't want to just, it's going to take a lot longer if we just, if we just dissolve the metal and try to go for the foils and then refine that out. I want to go ahead and get these done. So, excuse me, we may get a hair more if we went the other way, but I have never found it to be that much of a difference. I mean, if you're doing hundreds of kilos, yeah, you're going to probably end up with, a significant amount more, but just doing what we're doing here, I don't see the loss by not just, processing only foils by dissolving the base metals first. I just don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. So anyhow, let me get the camera set up. We'll go ahead and get our acids together and we'll get started on dissolving this stuff and seeing how much gold we get out of it. So we'll be back at you in just a bit. Okay guys, we are set and ready to go. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add my hydrochloric acid. I'm probably going to try to shake these down a little bit. And I'm going to just cover them with the hydrochloric acid. I've started with 50 mils of nitric over here. Basically, I'm just going to add it little by little. I like pouring it into these little plastic beakers to pour from because I'm only going to add a little at a time because these are really good for not dripping. And I hate, pouring a little bit out of that big bottle and it drips and runs down the bottle and so on and so forth. So I've just started with 50 mils in here. I'm going to go ahead and put our hydrochloric in. Like I said, we're going to just cover this. And then we are going to slowly add our nitric acid. I'm going to go ahead and turn my back fan on, even though it is a little cool out here. So we don't have these fumes, because we know we're going to get them. So let me do that. But we'll go ahead and add some nitric and swirl it around. And then, like I said, eventually we will put this up on the burner. But right now we're just going to add a little bit of nitric acid. Swirl it around. And see what kind of a reaction we get. It is a little cool out here today, so, I don't look for any super big bang reactions, but you still never know. Okay everybody, we're just popping back in for a second. About 15-20 minutes has gone by. I'm not seeing a ton of reaction yet because, like I said, it is kind of cool out here. So I did just turn the burner on to warm. I'm starting to see a little color in there, and I am starting to see a little bit more bubbles and a little bit more reaction going on. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave this go for a little while. Want to make sure that we don't do anything too fast or add too much at a time and end up with a boil over. So I'm going to just let it go. I'm going to let this play out with the amount that's in there. There's probably approximately about 25 mils of nitric in there right now. I know it's going to take a little more than that. So I'm going to just let it go until I'm not seeing a reaction, and we'll get back at you when we are going to add some more nitric acid to this. So we will see you in a bit. Okay guys, well, about, I don't know, let's say maybe a little more than an hour has gone by, and as you can see, our fluid has gotten very dark. Let me grab a stirring rod right quick. And let me get this distilled water spraying bottle, and we are going to check this out. Set that down. Going to see if we need to add any more nitric acid. maybe a little bit. Yeah, we're going to need to add a little more, so I'm going to stir this up a little. And I'm going to spray this down. And we're going to add a little bit more nitric acid to this. A little more at a time. Go ahead and add it all. We will stir that up. See what kind we're getting a reaction right away. Put this lid back on. And we're just going to let that go. So you can see we got an instantaneous reaction. That's because this was warm when we added it. I just added about, I don't know, probably the last 20 mils of nitric out of that first 50. So I'm going to stay here and watch this for a minute, make sure it doesn't go bonkers. And we'll get back at you guys in just a little bit. Okay guys, as you can see, it has gotten dark out here. I still see a little bit of metal in there, so I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more nitric to this. See if we get any reaction. I'm seeing a tiny bit of reaction right now. Not a lot. So let me get a catch pan under this. And we'll just set this in here and wait a minute or two to see if it starts to activate. And then we're just going to leave it for the night. Okay guys, it is the next day. It appears that everything has dissolved. It's hard to really see, but I'm thinking pretty much everything has dissolved in there. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get set up to filter this off. Get it filtering, and then rinse down all the ceramics and everything. And we'll see what we end up with. So let me go ahead and get this filter stuff set up and get her filtering, and we'll get back at you in just a bit. Okay everybody, so we are filtering off right now. I've got about 600 milliliters of fluid that's going to have to be filtered off. I'm not going to go get the vacuum pump and hook it up. This is a slow filter paper in our funnel, so it is going to take a while to do. So I'm just going to let this go ahead and filter through. Okay guys, we're evaporating off some fluids up here, but we got all of our ceramic chips out. It appears that we did a pretty good job dissolving everything off of them. This has been filtered twice. I filtered it the first time, then I put some sulfuric acid in it and filtered it again just to be sure we were removing the lead. So now I'm actually going to put some urea in this and denox it, and then we will take our sodium metabisulfite, mix us up some sodium metabisulfite and water, and in distilled water, and we will drop our gold and let it sit overnight. So I'm going to go ahead and get this ready to rock and roll, get everything ready, and then we will do the drop. So I'll be back at you in just a bit. Okay guys, I'm not expecting a big color change on this because because it's actually a contaminated drop. So we are going to go ahead and pour in our sodium metabisulfite that I've dissolved in some distilled water, mix her up, and see if we get a drop. So here we go. Now, it may take a little bit. There should have been plenty of sodium metabisulfite in there because I actually put in about 5 grams. It's going to be hard to see anything because of the color of the solution, but hopefully that will do it and we'll get us a gold drop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let this sit overnight, and then we will come back out here in the morning and see what we got. So we will see you all in the morning. Well, good morning everybody. We are outside here to check our gold drop, and I just had to take a picture of the back because the sun is actually shining. Anywho, there's our drop. I guess we can see on the bottom that we do have some gold, so we did get a drop. I'm going to go ahead and decant this solution out and test it, make sure that there's not any more gold left in it, and we'll get back to you when we are rinsing and cleaning up this powder. So we'll be back in a bit. Okay everybody, I didn't show it, but I actually poured this off, and I got our gold out of it that dropped. But I'm going to actually walk you through a test and show you. This is still showing that there's something in it. I don't know how well you can see that, but we have a fairly decent drop right there. It is dirty, but I've got to clean it out yet. But we did get a pretty decent drop. So I'm going to set that up on the shelf. Like I said, I'll show you right quick. I am getting a positive, but we still have metal in solution. So I'm going to warm this up, and I'm going to actually hit it with a little more urea, and then just put some sodium metabisulfite powder directly in it. I'm not going to put any more water in it, but I want to get a pretty good sample here, and I'm going to show you. I don't know, let's see if we can get this moved over here, and we'll put this here. So there's our sample right there, and I'm going to drop some stannous chloride in it. And we are getting a definite reaction. Now that could be maybe some palladium. Okay guys, I think we definitely have some palladium in solution. I don't know if you remember a while back, this was that jar from that dental stuff where I tested it, and I've just basically left the palladium salts in there. What I did was I took a pipette of this and I put it in, and we definitely got a yellow, you know, all the other stuff was settled on the bottom. When I put this in, we definitely got a yellow reaction. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just put this in a separate jug or separate container. I'm not going to put it in with my you know, my regular aqua regia waste. I'll put it in a separate jug and mark it, and down the road when we're a little bit more confident of playing with palladium, we'll get our palladium out of it. So there it is. I'm going to actually move this aside so you can see it on the napkin. You can see all up in here. I just dropped that barely on the top. I didn't disturb the bottom, and we did get like a yellow salt to form. So I didn't have to waste any more DMG because that stuff is expensive as heck. And we did get a nice little positive reaction. Yeah, so it's definitely falling out now. I can see it, the orange, yellow palladium salt. So I'm just going to put this away again where I had it, in a safe place, because I'm not going to fool with it right now. And one day down the road we'll get our palladium out of it. So I'm going to go ahead and boil our water. I am going to let this sit a little while longer, make sure nothing else settles out of it, and we'll start cleaning up our gold. So we'll be back at you in a bit. Hey guys, I just thought I'd bring you in on this for a second. What we're doing here is we are actually just rinsing our gold powder right now. I'm boiling it in distilled water. I'm going to do this. This is our second time. I'm going to do it a couple more times. Then I'm actually going to boil it in hydrochloric acid to remove any of the iron or other base metals that may still be left in there, and we'll do that a couple times till we get a clear acid and we don't have any color. And then we will get this in a melting dish and we will get it melted and see what we ended up with. I'm going to go ahead and let that finish out, but this is actually boiling in the HCl now, so this should remove any of the iron or maybe a little bit of copper or anything else that's in there. So we're going to go ahead and let that go right now, and then we're going to get this in a dish. I know I keep saying that over and over, but it is a process, and a lot of times you guys don't, I cut a lot of this kind of cleaning out, you know what I mean, because it's really repetitive and boring, but this is what it takes to get down to that pure gold powder. So anyway, I'm going to let this go. I'm going to check the color in a few minutes. If we have some color, I'm going to drain it off, and I'm going to add some fresh HCl and do it again until we don't have any color. Then we're going to rinse it one more time. We're going to get it in a dish and we're going to get it melted. So we'll be back at you in a little bit. Okay guys, we got everything done. There's our gold powder. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of borax around it. And we are going to go ahead and get to melting this up and see what we got. I'm hoping there's a little bit more in that extra fluid that we dropped out up there on the shelf. I can't tell yet because the fluid's too dark, but I do know there's a little bit of palladium in it. We got a little wind to contend with out here today, but we'll see what we got anyway. It was really kind of a bummer to get that to melt. I couldn't keep it hot enough. I have one tiny little piece of gold right there that we didn't get, but that's okay. We'll get it next time. And there is our beautiful little crinkled top piece of gold. Our little collapse right there indicating very high purity gold. I'm going to go ahead and go get it in the pickle pot. Get the borax off of it, and we're going to weigh it up and see what we got. So we will be back at you guys when we get inside. Okay guys, we are back inside. I just got it out of the pickle pot. It actually yielded better than I was counting on, better than I thought it was going to yield. We ended up with 1.82 grams, and this is going to be very, 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 very close to pure, if not pure gold, along with this little guy right here, which was from our 100 100 of those CD drive pickups, that we did the when we did the test to see how much we would get out of 100 of those pickups out of the little diodes. And by the way, that's 0.04 grams for 100 of those diodes. That's what I actually got out of that. But that is also pure. This is some of the other stuff that I've gotten out of off of some smaller jobs. But this is right now my total for the year over here. This has to be re-refined. I will probably actually also re-refine these too, but I'm not gonna in-quart this gold. This I will just dissolve like it is. I will in-quart this and then put this in with it after the fact and refine it all together. But there's 2.36 grams so far this year, which I am really kind of behind But I haven't been processing any pins. I haven't been processing any RAM. I've been saving all that stuff up, you know, doing all that during the winter. So I do have a lot of stuff that needs to be processed. I've just been recovering. I haven't actually been doing a lot of processing yet this year. So right now I would call that probably 18 karat gold. So 2.36 times 0.75. There's probably 1 3/4 grams of pure gold there, plus 1.82 plus 0.04. So right now I'm at 3.63 grams. I think last year I still have 6 months left though. I have 6 months left to September. And I think last September we ended up with I think it was 1.18 troy ounces of pure gold. So I have a ways to go. I need about 10 times more than this that I have on this little tray right now just to catch up with, or just to be about even with last year. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this little 2-part series. I know this one's going to be a bit long, but I didn't want to make it into 3. I didn't think it was necessary. And everybody keep washing them hands. Stay safe out there. I know it's some wild times right now. So everybody take care, and we'll see you in the next video.